Uncle Dana has been the target of numerous criticisms regarding fighting pay for quite some time now.
Raise pay-per-view prices and pay fighters less? Sweat like pain. It's time to put an end to this shit, Dana.
For years, fighters and fans alike have been saying that people who beat each other to near death should get paid a little more than what the UFC is offering. However, there are some fighters who have done very well for themselves, either by virtue of being a veteran of the sport or by being so marketable that they got Dana White privilege.
You got Dana White privilege.
No matter how the UFC fighters accumulated their wealth, there is no doubt that some of them enjoyed their money, and the result is some pretty lucrative purchases. Welcome to Sportskeeda MMA, where we will take a look at some of the ways these top UFC fighters spend their millions. Number 5. George St. Pierre. Welterweight GOAT George St. Pierre is considered one of the most cerebral fighters in UFC history. St. Pierre was known to use perfect technique in his fights and never being a step out of place. He even viewed his money in the same light and never blowing it on unnecessities. However, there are a few things that St. Pierre has used his hard-earned UFC money on that gives insight into who he really is. When asked how he spent his first $1 million in the UFC, St. Pierre made it a point to accentuate his financial mindset, that is, taking care of friends and family, but also investing heavily on his career. St. Pierre spent well over $200,000 on traveling to learn multiple mixed martial art disciplines, including going to Thailand to study Muay Thai and training with the legendary Freddie Roach to upgrade his boxing. This dedication to his improvement doesn't always result in a large jewelry collection, but it does help you become one of the best ever. Add this to the fact that St. Pierre also spent over $20,000 on his fossil collection, which includes a megalodon tooth, and you get the greatest mixed martial paleontologist of all time. Number 4. Francis Ngannou. The undisputed heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou has had his sights set on making more money for as long as he's been in the UFC. But contract disputes and the Predator's own pride has seen him miss out on a lot more than he's worth, to a tune of roughly $7 million. Ngannou relies heavily on endorsements and other business ventures to make money, but how does he spend it? Ngannou started the Francis Ngannou Foundation with his own money to give children the opportunity to follow their dreams through martial arts back in his hometown of Beatty, Cameroon. Ngannou's charitableness is also matched by his financial intelligence, as he looks to focus his income towards a modern-age staple, Bitcoin. After his impressive victory over Cyril Gane, Ngannou plans to convert half of his fight check into Bitcoin, about $300,000. His crusade into crypto has also seen the creation of his own NFT series, which has approximately netted Ngannou over $580,000. Right before his fight at UFC 270, Ngannou was even gifted a customized NFT gold chain. And now with the UFC's new deal with Dapper Labs, fighters will see 50% returns on all NFT sales if they have a highlight reel finish. I guess annihilating Alistair Overeem did pay off in the long run. Number 3. Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal made his millions in the most unlikely way possible. Gamebred is known for having a rocky UFC career, only making 5-figure paydays for most of it. This all changed after he shattered undefeated Ben Askren with the fastest knockout in UFC history. All of a sudden, Masvidal would see his fame skyrocket, especially after the East Coast vs West Coast super fight with Nate Diaz at UFC 244, which would net Masvidal $270,000. If you double that number, you will have Masvidal's payday for his first and second title shot against Kamaru Usman at UFC 251 and 261 respectively. He has since used this money for savvy investments like his ever-growing tequila company, but has kept a low profile in terms of his purchases. Sometimes you will see him in a decked-out Polaris slingshot or even an opulent $600 Versace robe that has cursed many fighters. But Masvidal's most expensive purchase is his gorgeous $2.2 million Scarface-inspired Miami mansion that features a koi pond, outdoor tiki bar, and fully stocked gym. This is all to say, a perfectly timed flying knee can help you live like Tony Montana. Number 2. Derrick Lewis. UFC knockout king Derrick Lewis has always been a private man, keeping details about his personal life under wraps. However, even the soft-spoken heavy hitter is not immune to the pleasantries earned by staying at the top of the heavyweight division for as long as he has. Lewis has been reported to earn roughly over $5 million in his UFC career, and with these sweet paydays came purchases that have not only allowed him to flex for the gram, but have also made rounds in the news for being useful. Firstly, it's no secret that Lewis enjoys his cars. One of the most luxurious cars he owns is a twin-turbo Lamborghini Huracan, valued at just over $220,000 for the base model, and can be seen driven on the racetrack by the Black Beast himself. Among his growing fleet is a $90,000 lifted truck that was used to help stranded victims of Hurricane Harvey. Despite his wealth, Lewis is a man of the people. And while we could see Lewis also spending his hard-earned money on the ultimate spa treatments to stay youthful, we can also see his money worn on his gorgeous wife, April, who sported these $13,000 Versace boots at Lewis's last fight against Chris Daukaus. Lewis is due for another fat check against Tai Tuivasa at UFC 271. But one thing is for sure, he has a big bank account, but an even bigger heart. Number 1. Conor McGregor. In 2021, the notorious Conor McGregor raked in a jaw-dropping $180 million, making him the highest-paid athlete in sports, above the likes of football legends like Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. This vast sum came primarily from a successful whiskey company, Proper 12, and there's no secret as to how he spends his money. One look at McGregor's Instagram will show million-dollar watches galore, designer drip, a multitude of foreign whips, and beautiful homes to accompany these high-roller knickknacks. Yet sometimes, these boasts can fuel jealousy. Just recently, McGregor's upscale $2.1 million pub, the Black Forge Inn, was the subject of a Molotov cocktail attack. Luckily, nobody was harmed and the pub remains open. But among all his luxurious purchases came the one that was too extravagant to ignore. Around October of 2020, McGregor dropped a whopping $3.6 million on a Lamborghini yacht. Basically, a Lamborghini, but on water. This stunning super yacht was the 12th model out of 63 that have since been made. 12 obviously referring to Proper 12. And the crazy thing is, this isn't the most expensive yacht he's ever been on. Conor McGregor may be on track to becoming the highest earning combat sports athlete of all time, but unfortunately hasn't fought since his freak accident at UFC 264. Will he come back and prove to the world that his enormous wealth hasn't destroyed his hunger for fighting? If and when it does happen, you'll hear about it first from us at Sportskeeda MMA, so make sure to subscribe for more content like this.